Okay. I need a motion to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
Roll call.
Need a second.
Board Director
Uh,
Bragman?
I'll second it.
Yes. Director Bragman,
Aye.
Director Gibson,
Aye.
and Chairman Russell.
Aye.
Thank you.
Do we have any public expression?
We did receive one email, and I have forwarded it to you, and it will be posted later after the meeting.
Need a motion to approve the agenda.
Move approval of the agenda.
Second.
Roll call.
Director Bragman,
Aye.
Director Gibson,
Aye.
and Chairman Russell.
Aye. Okay, item 2, regional collaboration between MMWD and local jurisdictions.
Minutes from last meeting.
I thought we did the minutes.
It-
Oh, you're there.
I think you may have misnamed it.
Yeah, I think I did adopt the agenda twice. Well,
All right.
motion to approve the minutes.
So
Move
moved.
approval.
Second.
Roll call.
Director Bragman,
Aye.
Director Gibson,
Aye.
and Chairman Russell.
Aye. Okay, number 2, regional collaboration between MMWD and jurisdictions.
Thank you, Larry. I believe Carrie's going to be admitted as a
Yes.
panelist now.
Thanks, Crystal.
Try this again. Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Louder.
Yes.
Carrie.
Right
Very good.
Carrie was evacuated, so we're glad you're able to join us and
Wow.
everything is okay with you.
Yeah, all is well. Thank you.
there. Yeah.
All right, let's jump right into this. So regional collaboration. So for the district and local jurisdictions for the land use planning entities for compliance with the state's water efficient landscape ordinance. So the water efficient landscape ordinance establishes statewide standards for new and rehabilitated landscapes. And these land use authorities, which are local cities, towns, and the county, are required to ensure compliance with the state. And then they're also required to do annual reporting to the state on participation, or not participation, but how many sites went through this process.
Mhm.
So in 2015, the district adopted a slightly more restricted water efficient landscape ordinance. What makes it more restrictive is that the state requirement for rehabilitated landscapes is 2,500 square feet, and our requirement is 1,000 square feet or more. So, it is slightly more restrictive. And because we have this landscape planning or landscape plan review ordinance on the books, the district has been conducting review of landscape plans, essentially on behalf of the local ordinance or the local jurisdictions. And we've been doing this to ensure compliance with our own ordinance that we have in place. And each year, because not all, but most of the local cities and towns know that we conduct these, they reach out to us for the reporting documentation that's needed for the state. So square footage that was reviewed, number of sites, types of sites, etc. So during the 2019 reporting process, we noticed that there was varying levels of coordination from the local jurisdictions in our service area. And so what we're really looking at doing here is establishing a multi-benefit agreement, which I'll note has not been fully developed. We just are at a draft point right now, which will really solidify the process for landscape plan reviews. What we're hoping to include here are timelines for the plan review, ensuring that the planning counters direct staff to, or direct applicants to staff at the district for the landscape plan review for us to determine whether it's applicable or not. We'll cover items like who will conduct the inspections, which is a required part of the process. And then finally, of course, reporting, who will handle the reporting. And then finally, the documentation of the project completion or approval needs to be, we'd like to have that be part of the required packet for the final sign off on the permit, which is not currently something that's incorporated into all of our local jurisdictions permitting process. So we really believe that this multi-agency agreement will ensure consistency, compliance, and support not only for this landscape plan review process, but any other water conservation initiatives or water efficiency initiatives that the district will launch that will require an increased coordination between our local jurisdictions. So as I mentioned, we do not have this item, the agreement fully, finalized, because we are just kind of starting to initiate the discussions with all 11 of those entities that we'd like to get agreement with. And once we have that finalized, we will of course bring it back to the board for your approval. This is an item for discussion. There's no action required. And if there are any questions, I'd be happy to take them.
If I could briefly just jump in with a couple additional points. We expect this to be an MOU between us and all of the jurisdictions, the cities in the county and our service area, and really be a win-win where they get compliance assurance and we're reporting on their behalf, and we get tighter controls and coordination with the jurisdictions in terms of the conservation program elements generally. So it feels like a good approach. We're helping them and we're helping our water conservation program.
Mhm.
Yeah,
What's the timeline on it?
Yeah, so I had an initial meeting with the building officials back in February, and that's where this idea kind of came up. And there was interest from them to participate as well. COVID hit, and so everything's kind of at a slower pace. But once we have approval from you all to move forward with this, then we'll reach out and begin those negotiations. So I would imagine it'll take at least 6 months or so.
Okay.
yeah, I think it's a really good idea, and would actually urge you to try to get them to include beyond landscape as far as plumbing efficiency and those type of things too. So I know I went to Fairfax to get them to adopt some of our indoor efficiency standards, and the rest of my towns in my division, I don't even know if they've done that. So I think this is a very good step, really.
Yeah, I agree. I think it is.
Strongly support it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hope it moves forward. And I really do think you should be somewhat bold in
Yeah.
including, a greater breadth of regulation,
Yeah.
truthfully. So
Aggressive was the word I was thinking of. Bold is
I
better.
didn't want to use that word.
And I would also note, directors, that we would expect potential involvement from you all. When the MOU is brought to the jurisdictions, we would invite you to attend that meeting.
Yeah.
And also, were we to, with any jurisdictions, hit some friction points with staff that we couldn't get over, I don't anticipate that, but we would engage you to potentially reach out to your counterparts in the cities.
Good. Thank you. I think that's a great idea too. So you just need our nod of approval today, right? No action.
Well, we need a motion to forward it to the board, I think, huh?
It's a discussion.
Or is it done?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think our intent bringing it here was just to alert the board. So as we're talking with staff, you don't hear about it,
Okay.
means. We would bring it now once we begin negotiations and have the makings of the MOU. We would bring it to the board to get your support with proceeding to the final stages of that.
Okay.
Maybe we could take a look at the draft agreement,
Yeah. Good.
So,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Good luck.
Chairman Russell, there aren't any public comments, just FYI.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 3, contract number 1931, Fifth Avenue Pipeline Replacement Project.
Hi, good morning. I'm here to present the Fire Flow Improvement Program Fifth Avenue Pipeline Replacement Project. The project will be constructed in the city of San Rafael. The project will install approximately 3,990 linear feet of welded steel pipe to replace old, undersized, fire flow deficient pipe in support of the district's Fire Flow Improvement Program and in coordination with the city of San Rafael's Street Overlay Program. My engineer's estimate for the project is $1,600,000, and bids were opened on August 18th. The project is scheduled to last 180 days with a completion date of February 28th, 2021. My recommended action is for review and referral to a future regular bi-monthly meeting of the Board of Directors with the Operations Committee recommendation to proceed with the project.
Okay, seems pretty straightforward. I'll make a motion.
Terry, do we have any public comments on the item?
No, we do not. Sorry.
Okay,
Zach,
Thanks,
I
Terry.
just have one question, Zach. It's going east from A Street to Grand Avenue. So I
Correct.
know the city of San Rafael just completed its new fire station, which I think is at 5th and D. If there's any contemplation of going west with this thing at some point.
At some point, yeah, there is existing 14-inch cast iron in that location. However, the project limits here are ending there at Mission.
Okay. I'd second the motion to go forward with the project.
May I do a roll?
Well,
I don't think we really need it because it's just going to the board, but we're happy to do it if you think it's okay or if you need it. What do you think,
No,
Jerry?
it's not necessary. It's going to be referred to the full board.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Item
you.
4.
Yeah, good morning,
Item 4.
everyone.
good morning.
My apologies. Today I bring you the First Amendment to Lease 65, which is with T-Mobile at our Marin City tank site. We have been leasing to T-Mobile there since 1997. Our current annual rental is $59,921. This escalates every October 1st by 3% or the Bay Area CPI, whichever is greater. The current lease term expires September 30th, 2022, with one more additional 5-year term after that. So that would bring us all the way to 2027. We have received a request from T-Mobile to modify the lease with 3 new antennas and to modify the cabinets at the lease site to allow for additional frequencies. We have negotiated a one-time fee for this process at this point for oversight and administrative time at $7,600. And that's for our review of the project and bringing it to the board, and also the review of the construction project itself, and an annual rental increase of $10,000 annually. And this would bring the rental increase to $69,921, which will become effective 30 days after the issuance of a building permit by the Marin County Community Development Department. This is a 16.6% increase in the these increased non-rate revenues from this lease will continue to be used to fund important district programs to assist customers, which include but are not limited to the medical and low-income water rate discount programs. So staff recommends that the Operations Committee review and refer this item to a regular future board meeting for the Board of Directors, with the District Operations Committee recommending to authorize the General Manager to execute the First Amendment to the amended and restated Lease 65 with T-Mobile. If you have any questions.
Paul, I have a couple questions. I'm a little bit concerned about this lease amendment. I received public comment from somebody who lives in the area that there's concern about installation of 5G at that site. So first of all, can you confirm that T-Mobile's installation is for 5G?
Yes, I can.
And it is.
Yes.
Okay. The standard 5G standards are currently in litigation in the DC District Court. So I'm a little bit concerned about approving this project while the broadcast standards are under review in the Federal District Court. I also received notice that the Marin City Community Development District is concerned about this installation. So I just want to put those issues on the table. I just received documentation from Jared, a legible copy of the construction documents and the lease. The construction documents I just got this morning because the ones he sent me earlier were not legible. But is there any time sensitivity to this?
Actually, there is. They're trying to move forward with this in the beginning part of September. We were hoping to bring this to the board on September 1st. We are still awaiting a signed agreement from them, but we expect to get it in the next few days, and we will not bring it to the board without a signed agreement.
I'm going to oppose bringing this to the full board. I need additional time to look things over. So that's where I'm at right now. I don't know how the other board members feel. But
What is the downside of delay?
It would just delay construction that they have planned on their side, but there's still, I'm sure, some permitting processes that they need to go through. So, delays just delay their ability to start their project whenever they're approved.
Why don't we do this, guys? Why don't we put it on the board meeting, let it get out of the dock, and then if that date is not available on September 1st, we either have a full discussion at the board meeting or we pull it off.
Sounds good to me.
I mean, if you guys wanted to go to the board, I would just, I would request that at least on the first go round, it be on for discussion versus approval.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, either way, I mean, if we get the data we need before that, it can go on for approval if it satisfies you. And if it doesn't, we'll have it in full discussion.
I think, Larry, what we could also bring to that meeting would be clarity as to the permitting process they would have to go through with presumably the local jurisdictions in some way that may help clarify what our roles and responsibilities are and what the local jurisdiction's roles and responsibilities are. But it may not satisfy. But I think that would be a good additional piece to bring.
Yeah, I can just tell you from my experience, the discretionary approval of local planning agencies has been very much constrained under recent rules. So I think we are really probably the most important review of any of the agencies. And we probably have discretion whether to approve it or not. So I think our approval is very, very important here. And, I think it does deserve a full hearing. And, if the rest of the board wants to put it on for a regular board meeting, that's fine. But like I said, I'd like it at least to get a chance before it's on for approval to have a discussion item first before it's on for approval, which would only...
Are you suggesting, other than at the board meeting, for example, bring it back to the dock at some future date?
I'd prefer that if staff and the rest of the board wants it to go to the regular agenda, that's fine. I'm going to need some time to look into it. I'm not asking for, 6 months, but I'm going to need at least a couple weeks or 30 days to kind of go through my review. So the lease itself is about 65 pages. The construction documents aren't that long. There is litigation pending in the DC District Court, which I can send to the manager for circulation to the rest of the board. So it's worth discussing. And I also think it's worth at least notifying and the Marin City Community Services District about the application.
Yeah.
I know they've been made aware of it through a constituent that lives down there, but I haven't heard back from the board member who it was sent to.
Well, that sounds like a more full discussion you're looking for here. My suggestion is we simply bring it back to the doc at the next month's doc meeting.
I would appreciate that, honestly. I mean, I know it puts it back 30 days, but it's an important discussion. And I know there's a lot of community interest. I know Mill Valley went through a long 5G process. I don't know what Sausalito's done. I guess that's the more relevant one. County of Marin had a very full discussion about 5G. I know Supervisor Sears, who represents that area, signed on to the amicus brief for that DC litigation. So it is an item of community concern, and I do think it deserves a fuller airing.
Okay.
So I would appreciate bringing it back to the next doc.
Okay.
Does that work, Jared?
Yeah, I think that works. I think that what Paul can probably do is we can reach out to T-Mobile and see if that's going to impact their schedule in any way, and if they need it sooner, we could discuss that with the board. But otherwise, I think that would work.
Okay.
What kind of
But-
public comment do we have on this, if any?
We do not have it.
I did get an email from a resident of Mill Valley, and the Marin City Community Services District was copied on it. So, it didn't get into the public record. I can send it, again, I'll send it to Ben and he can circulate it as he sees fit. But that's what alerted me to it. I asked Jared to get some of the construction documents so I could see what was going on. And then I looked at it this morning, made an inquiry as to whether it is 5G. It is a 5G application. So it's worth taking a look at.
And Ben, to that extent, let's put some science behind this instead of, fear. So let's get some kind of report either from the FCC or T-Mobile at least on what impacts, if any, result from 5G installations. I know my phone lights up 5G, so there must already be 5G coming off of some of our systems.
Yeah.
So
this one is I think this is in pretty close proximity to Golden Gate Village, and that's also a very densely developed area in that precinct. So, but I agree with you, Larry. I think, I'd like to hear from T-Mobile, see what they have to say.
Yeah, or like I say, let's call the FCC and ask them, I mean, they must have some position on it, being that they're letting them go in. So, it's pretty close. You're correct about that to the Golden Gate thing.
Okay, we'll proceed along those lines, and we'll look to bring some additional information trying also, I understood what you said, Director Bragman, but really looking at, to the extent we can, inform board of where typically these systems get permitted. But also I think Director Russell raises a good point of what 5G may we already have up there. Not that that's conclusive to the discussion, but just to help inform it.
That's fine.
Especially if there's not mobile 5G sites already on our watershed. And obviously, they're first, they're not going to be the last to request this.
Yeah. You know, our policy in Fairfax was to try to get them away from densely developed areas. So anyway, I appreciate the courtesy, everybody, and thank you very much.
Okay.
Cool.
All right, thank you.
Number 5, San Geronimo.
All right, good morning all. This is Alex Anaya, the senior engineer in the civil design section. I'm here this morning to present the San Geronimo Treatment Plant Emergency Generator Project along with the CEQA Notice of Exemption. A little bit of the background: the San Geronimo Treatment Plant was constructed in 1961, and it's a source of approximately 50% of the district's potable water supply. Since its construction, the plant has been expanded to meet increased water demands along with upgrades to improve the water treatment capabilities and seismic reliability. In 2019, the district was made aware that PG&E was going to be implementing its public safety power shutoffs, or as we now know them as the PSPSs, in which PG&E would be shutting off the power to different sections of the power grid when extreme fire danger conditions were forecasted. As a result, the district initiated a 2-phased approach to ensure that the treatment plant would have continued power during these events. The first phase included renting a 2-megawatt generator to be used in the summer of 2019 and during this summer of 2020. And the second phase was to design and install a permanent emergency generator system at the treatment plant. So this project will include the installation of a 3-megawatt power plant system consisting of 2 1.5 megawatt power plants with diesel particulate filters and 2 10,000-gallon above-ground storage tanks, which will provide up to 5 days of emergency power with an automatic transfer switch and other improvements to support the operation and maintenance of the emergency generator system. So this emergency generator system installation will require some minor excavation and grading and new construction on a portion of the treatment plant site. District staff and its professional environmental consultant have reviewed the project with regards to the California Environmental Quality Act and have determined that this project is categorically exempt. Pursuant to the CEQA guidelines, when a lead agency determines a project is exempt from CEQA, it may file a notice of exemption after the public agency approves the project. In addition, the district has also received the construction permit from the Bay Area Air Quality Management District, authorizing the district to proceed with this project. So in order to complete the construction before the 2021 wildfire and PSPS season, district staff will be advertising this project on September 15th and awarding the contract by late October. When completed, this project will ensure a reliable supply of safe drinking water for our customers. My engineer's estimate for this project is $2,890,000 with a $290,000 contingency. The recommended action by staff today is to obtain approval by the Board of Directors of Resolution 8590, approving the San Geronimo Treatment Plant Emergency Generator Project, finding that the San Geronimo Treatment Plant Emergency Generator Project is categorically exempt from the provisions of the California Environmental Quality Act, and directing staff to file the notice of exemption with the Marin County Clerk. Any questions?
Alex, I think I brought this up at the last meeting, but is there going to be a sound wall or any kind of sound remediation?
Yes, the 2 units do come with sound attenuating structures around the generators, and I got some more information on that. So they are rated at 75 decibels at 23 feet away from the actual generator. So that's about as loud as a vacuum cleaner. We've done some additional research, and the closest residence to the generator is about 1,100 feet away. And at that distance, that sound would be equivalent to about 41 decibels, which is about as loud as a whisper or some light rain. So the impact to the surrounding community is going to be very minimal as far as the noise is concerned.
Good. Thanks for looking into that. I appreciate it. And then
Absolutely.
also, didn't we talk about getting some kind of an extension on the exhaust to kind of get that a little higher too?
Yeah, the way the current generator system is set up with the diesel particulate filter, it will be, the discharge tip is 17 feet above the ground surface level. So it's pretty high up there already. So that should be sufficient.
Okay. Okay. Well, obviously it's a necessary project. So,
Correct.
Yeah, exactly.
so do we recommend this to the full board or do we need to take
No,
a vote?
I don't, we're going to vote at like,
This is final approval, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay, then I'd move approval.
Okay, I'll second.
Terry, do we have any public comments?
No, we do not. So I'll proceed. Director Bragman,
Aye.
Director Gibson,
Aye.
and Chairman Russell.
aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank-
Hey, thank you, Alex.
Okay, I think that does it.
All right, thank you very much.
Hey, cool.
We'll see you later today, right? Don't we have another?
Yeah, 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Yep,
We'll see you
Cool.
later.
Thanks all.
Bye,
See
everyone.
you.
Thank
Aye.
you.